project did not come out of just a small group of progressive leaders or directors or board members doing something. We created an organizing cooperative in the middle of last year. And the idea behind it was that if 200 people could come together and agree to give $20 or more a month, then they could be member owners. We'd have an organizer that worked for them, and they would self-organize themselves, have democracy, decide what issues mattered to them and to their community. So can I see hands of people who are members of the current organizing cooperative? Whoa! And so it's led to amazing levels of activism. And one of the ideas was that people would divide into issue groups about things that mattered to them. And one of the things that mattered a lot and drew one of the biggest issue groups was the right-wing domination of our electronic media. Yes. And so they have been meeting for a number of months, and the question was what to do about it. Because you can sit back and say that nothing can be done, that the world is as it is, or you can say that we can shape our own world. Right. Yes. And so the decision was, we can't have any one strategy. There have been a lot of people who have worked on owning a radio station, but there are other strategies as well. And so the idea was that we needed activists, we needed the people who were meeting in the cooperative to work on this, but we needed some sort of ongoing capacity. And so this kickoff is really about hiring an organizer, seeing if there are 250 people who care enough about this monopoly to hire an organizer. Now, an organizer on their own, how much can an organizer accomplish on their own? Nothing. An organizer with all the people who joined and all the people who have already joined could work together to change the whole landscape in Milwaukee. Yeah. And it's what the members were concerned about, the member owners most, is that it's a shocking situation. We have quote-unquote public airwaves, right? Legally, these are airwaves owned by all of us. Yeah. And the two leading news and information stations in Milwaukee, is there any progressive opinion on them? No. Is there any moderate opinion on them? No. So there are 5 right-wing talk show hosts. Now, we've had some right-wing media attack this already, said there's great diversity among these folks. Well, do any of them oppose Scott Walker or any of his major agenda items? No. Okay, great diversity. Do any of them not work on getting out the vote, on dividing and conquering, on splitting off the white suburbs and blaming people in Milwaukee? No. So that's what this is about. So small number of people can change this. And so we have 2 initial strategies. Now, the first strategy, of course, is people getting invested enough to actually have an organizer, okay? But if we do that, and what this will do is launch a campaign to do that, then the 2 initial strategies, and more can be developed, are number 1, to hold right-wing radio accountable, a right-wing radio accountability project, or RAP, which means actually monitoring what they're saying, and I don't mean the organizer, I mean volunteers, and using that information to put pressure on these companies that own these stations and all of these advertisers to try to have some semblance of balance. So to try to say that, why can't we have, if we have 5 of them, can't we have 1 progressive host or 2, 1 per station? They could even start on weekends. Look at the voting in this region. There are a huge number of progressives and Democrats, right? They're not, the idea that these 5 hosts represent this region is absurd. Okay, so that's number 1. And that's to break the monopoly. But number 2 is, since you can't always rely on pressure on corporations who own something, is to try to explore whether we can own our own station. And that'll be a process. But accountability right away, and then you can see Keith Schmitz has been a major driving force on owning a station, but figure out what station, how much would have to be raised as investor shares, owners, right, ownership, and then how much could be financed, etc. Is there a station that would have impact, etc. The format, because we were about unifying, about the common interest, is going to speak to everyone. This is not just talking to white progressives. This is talking to Latinos, to African Americans, to Hmong, to Native Americans, to all the people the right wants to divide against each other to hold power.